We are live. Has Amazon Prime actually wanted Stargate for a lot longer than we thought? Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. Hello and welcome to everybody. Welcome to SciTrek. I've already got a load of people in the comments. Really nice to see you all. I'm just going to throw it straight out there. As you know, I've had a few sources working in and around Amazon and MGM, sorry. But I've been slowly building up a bit of a network of people I talk to. And I've had a new person I've started to talk to that actually works partly for Amazon. Does some stuff for Amazon Prime. He actually is the one that told me recently that Amazon are still really, really interested in Stargate and that they seem to be taking the project in-house. So it won't necessarily be MGM that make the new Stargate series when it gets made. It will actually be Amazon Prime or Amazon Studios. I've been talking to him a bit more, though, because there's been a bit of confusion knocking around about when certain scripts were made, and what's been going on with where we're at really with MGM and the new Stargate series. So, this is really off the bat. I had a conversation, or Brad Wright actually sent me a message a little while ago off one of my videos, and he basically said, "You keep saying that I created a script a year ago." That's the one Malozzi has seen, and that I rewrote that following pressure from Amazon. And he said that's not true. Well, I actually agree with him. It's not true. I don't actually think I said that. I did imply it in my last statement when I very, very quickly summed it all up into this final script was made under pressure from Amazon. But as you know, if you've watched a lot of these videos before, I've discussed that many times in more detail. And I've said repeatedly, Amazon were feeding back to MGM, but Amazon could not force Brad Wright to do anything because Amazon didn't own MGM at the time. And I've said that a lot. But it did make me think, because Brad Wright actually said at that point that he didn't write that script that Joseph Malozzi recently tweeted out on until actually he wrote it before COVID happened. Right now, that is actually contrary to something he said to me about 3 or 4 months ago when he commented on one of my other videos. And he actually said at the time that the final draft, he wrote that about a year ago. So we talk about maybe 18 months ago now. Obviously, COVID has been going on. It's nearly 3 years ago, I would say, that would happen. So a bit of confusion there. So I went back to my chap who works at Amazon, who works for Amazon. And I said to him, when was Amazon's interest in Stargate? Because we always assumed, because we've never been told anything different, that Amazon's interest in Stargate started around the time the sale went through. He came back to me immediately and said, no, Amazon's interest in Stargate was from the very beginning. It was from day one. So Amazon and MGM were actually talking about Stargate before COVID and before Brad Wright was ordered to create the pilot. Now, that is quite big news in lots of ways because we're in a position at the moment where we're in a bit of limbo. The main update right now is that actually nothing is happening with Stargate at Amazon. Amazon and everyone I've spoken to says everything is on hold. Everyone I speak to at MGM say almost every project that's not in sort of like final production has gone on hold. Nothing else major has happened since the contracts and things and the big day a few weeks ago when lots of people suddenly told, well, your contracts they're not being carried on, and basically a lot of people put on garden leave and basically escorted out of the building by guard. Ever since then, everything seems to have gone very, very quiet. There are going to be no new projects announced anytime soon, is what I'm being told. And so what does that mean for Stargate? It means that all this work that had been done on Brad Wright's initial script is still just sat there doing nothing. My chap at Amazon says all of that stuff there is now at Amazon Prime, and they are going through it all. But nothing is going to happen at the moment because MGM has to have a massive restructure, and Amazon Prime have actually had a bit of a financial issue through quite a big stock price decrease, but also just people are not tuning into as many scriptions as they were, scripts as before, subscribing to Amazon Prime, etc. as they were. So everything's on hold until that happens. But this news that Amazon Prime were interested in Stargate even before the sale of MGM was announced is interesting, because it basically means Amazon have been sniffing around Stargate for more than 3 years. There is absolutely no way they are not going to push forward with a project that they've been working on or interested in for 3 years. So what are we going to do? So what's that mean basically for Stargate? And what does that mean for this confusion about the scripts? One thing I've been told repeatedly from lots of different sources is that Amazon have not been particularly excited by Brad Wright's vision for the Stargate series. He was very worried that the Amazon basically wanted him to think a lot bigger. And this is what Brad Wright was pointing out to me, that he didn't do the rewrite because he was ordered by Amazon to do it. And he's right, he wasn't, because that feedback would have gone through MGM, because Amazon doesn't own MGM at the time. Amazon only owns MGM from about 6 weeks, 2 months ago. But Amazon were interested, and it looks like Amazon was potentially looking to buy the Stargate series themselves even as early as July 2019. This is before Brad Wright was ordered to do the pilot. They were in conversations with MGM. But nothing could be announced, according to my source, because MGM hadn't agreed who they were going to sell to. Now, Amazon were interested and were looking to bid at that time, but so was Apple, and so was somebody else, possibly Warner Brothers. I can't remember who the other person was, but it was definitely Apple. And they were not sure who they were going to sell to. So nothing could be sort of like publicly discussed. But privately, Amazon wanted Stargate for Amazon Prime. That really blows everything up, because then we're talking about all these rumors I keep getting told that Amazon were giving feedback back to Brad Wright through MGM. Basically means that it's irrelevant what we were told, what we assumed that happened or started to happen from the sale. It actually was happening from day one. Even before Brad Wright was even involved, it was happening. They were already giving feedback back then. It would have been informal. It would have been, oh, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. But that seems to be how the process works. Brad Wright himself, in a tweet and again in a message to me, said that he did write several pilots. He did write several different scripts, lots and lots of different versions. All of those versions were complete reviews and done with feedback through the development process, is what he called it. But that development process is he writes a script, he sends it to MGM. MGM executives read it. They kick it about the office a bit. They send him notes, which then go back to Brad Wright. He does a rewrite based on that. And they go through that process doing several rewrites until they get something they're happy with. Now, if this apparently happened before COVID, but I actually know it happened sort of after COVID. So it was over that Christmas period, over a few months. When he said he hasn't written that final script for 18 months, I think he was just like on COVID brain. Because I think Brad Wright is actually really, really honest. He's really happy to talk to fans and things. He sent me a few messages now, and he has actually mentioned SciTrek a couple of times. So, you know, I don't think he's being dishonest. I don't think he's playing games. What I do think, I do think he's playing games a little bit. We'll talk about that in a minute. So, Amazon were involved from day one, before Brad Wright even got involved. Brad Wright writes the script, sends it to MGM. MGM, because they're trying to tout this and trying to sell this to Amazon Prime for their TV show, send it to Amazon Prime. They send notes. MGM kick it around the office themselves. They send notes. Brad Wright does a rewrite. Brad Wright sends that next one to them. And again, so it looks like actually Amazon Prime have had their fingertips in this TV series from day one. John Jones said he had a short chat. I'd love to know what Brad said, John. Get in the comments, tell us exactly what you said. Because again, this seems to be, I've had a little bit of a conversation with him myself, and I did ask Brad to sort of clarify when this Joseph Malozzi script was written, and he didn't respond to me, because he did tell me initially it was a year ago. That was a few months ago now, so say 18 months. Now he's saying it was before COVID. Like I said, that's at least 2.5 years. So there's a bit of a 6-month discrepancy there. But that's easily done. We've all got COVID brain, and I don't know where we're coming or going the last 2 years. So that seems to be, we seem to be finally getting a bit of clarity, though, anyway, and something, and a storyline that makes sense. But the big takeaway from that is that Amazon are not going to drop a project that, for one, they initiated it. They went to MGM and said, actually, we wouldn't mind this. We would buy this if you made it. That seems to be what triggered MGM to get Brad Wright to write the pilot. I said at the time, MGM people I spoke to felt that was always done to try to bump up the sale price, because a Stargate project as an intellectual property is worth so much, but a Stargate project actually in development is worth more. And we do have to remember that the Stargate franchise is MGM's most valuable franchise, only second to Bond. So, Zach Jones, I will write word for words. I can't upload the tweet as a picture here. Yeah, thank you. That'd be great. I'd love to do that. Like I say, I've seen a few of his tweets, so I should have put them on here so I could save them to us, but I didn't. The last Brad Wright tweet that I got basically was saying that somebody had asked him whether he was involved in Stargate anymore. He actually said, I wrote these scripts before COVID. I have no idea what Amazon are doing with the project right now, but he doesn't believe they would scrap a project they've spent this much money on. Like I say, a big reason why they bought MGM, and he seems to be agreeing with that. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he seems to be agreeing with me that a big reason why they bought MGM was Stargate. Also, franchises like Rocky, list goes on and on with MGM, doesn't it? But Stargate is one reason. And what I was told was very early on, Amazon came to them and said that there's these 3 big projects they wanted to push forwards with. And it was Bond, Amazon, and a big reboot. We're going to be hearing about a reboot shortly, I think. So he said that, but he said he hasn't actually done any work on that since then. He has no idea, and he's had no meetings. He did then tweet that he was not invited to the meetings that happened in April. Something that I've clarified since, that I told you guys that actually he was invited to those meetings. It looks like the source I spoke to that now hates me and won't talk to me anymore, but the source that I spoke to at the time saw his name on a bunch of meetings. It looks like actually the meetings were about Brad Wright, not inviting him. But again, when you're getting sources like we're getting from MGM, people talk to me about these things. They don't have the full picture. So we are making some assumptions and speculating quite a lot, but that's all we can do when we don't have the full picture, when the people we're talking to don't have all the information. Good channel, I appreciate those, because I hope Stargate comes back, but I also have my reservations, especially like Picard. We can talk about that in a bit. Once I get through this last little bit of information, we'll have a bit of a questions and answers. If you guys want to get into the comments, tell us what you think. And let's see what we want to talk about. Right. So Brad Wright admits he's got no idea what they're doing right now. The guy I speak to at Amazon, though, says that they've been interested in 3 years. There's no way they're going to drop a project that they've been working on 3 years. He says, the other big thing was, he says there is now a small team in Amazon, at Amazon Studios, that are going through the script and all the artwork and things, and they're reviewing everything that was done. This is an extension of the sort of what they started, a process they started during the April meetings, when a lot of this artwork based on Brad Wright's pilot script was produced so they could show off to executives. Apparently all of that stuff now is at Amazon Studios. He did tell me the office, but I didn't write it down. And there is a team looking at that, but he says that shouldn't get too excited about that, because there's little teams of 2 or 3 people looking at almost every MGM project. Anything that they've started to work on, they're reviewing at Amazon, and they're trying to decide what projects they want to kick off with and what projects they don't. Trying to review where they are. So just the fact that there's a small team looking at the Stargate project, he said I wouldn't get too excited about. But it's still cool and that's happening. So where we are right now, there is no movement. The financial impact of COVID is just starting to hit entertainment, and the slowdown in the subscriptions. There is going to be a massive MGM restructure. Amazon executives now, they've actually own MGM and can start doing what they want, are reviewing everything. We know the MGM, it looks like Amazon have been involved since the beginning and have their fingertips all over this project, and we're just waiting to see what happens next. What do I think is going to happen? This is speculation in my opinion, but a lot of the work has been done. We've got a pilot script that's 3 years old. I'm being told, though, that Amazon don't love the pilot. Now, but that doesn't mean Brad Wright can't write another one and can't write the development process start again. It just makes sense that that will happen. Just a second, guys. And there's something I need to get rid of in the messages. Goodbye now. Wakey2, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And listen, any super chat things, they will be read out. If you say it's anything you want to be read out, do it that way. I just need to block a user that is sending us naked lady things. So, Brad Wright, when SG1 was cancelled, I pitched MGM a movie. They bought SG1, Atlantis team entered rescue Destiny and save the closure of the story. They've talked about that a few times, haven't they? About how in the new series they really hope for an SGU, an SG1, an SG Atlantis sort of conclusion. I normally have mods in Wakey, but they are not online at the moment. Let's get rid of those guys. I started writing immediately. We kept the setup for as long as management wasn't interested. Yeah, this is all after Stargate Atlantis ended, wasn't it? SGU ended as well. But they really did push for a movie, particularly at the end of Stargate Atlantis, but they couldn't get the money. By the way, if you're watching and you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. It really helps us out. Also, you can go to SciTrek.com. There's a link in the description. You can buy lovely SciTrek gear, T-shirts and things. And there's a load of Stargate designs I've done for you. You can pick your team, SG1, SGA, or SGU. So please, all of these things, they help. I've got the prices as low as I possibly can, but anything you do really supports the channel. If you've got any questions, guys, please get into the things and help us out. George, you are a legend. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's such, Kevin, I agree with you. It's like we said, this Stargate franchise is bigger than Rocky. It was bigger than a lot of the other movies they've done over the years. The Stargate movie was a big surprise hit. It was a movie that they only spent about $5 million or $15 million to buy. Go away. $15 million to buy because it was made by this other company. The company didn't think it was going to do very well, and they sort of chickened out. And MGM stepped in and went, "Oh, we'll have it." They bought it. And then they think, and it was a surprise hit. It's still, even today, the 8th highest grossing MGM movie of all time. The TV series won loads of awards. It was the highest Showtime series ever, premiere. It absolutely smashed it. James Bond. Yeah, now that I want to see James Bond. I want to see Jack O'Neill sort of like, taking the piss out of Bond. That'd be good. And then smacking James Bond out when James Bond tries to hit on Sam. That'd be that would be brilliant. Next week, by the way, guys, I'm going to be doing a video with, hopefully with Matt, who does our channel. We're going to be looking at Stargate Series 2. I'd love you guys to get into the comments later and tell us which episodes of Series 2 you love the most. We're going to review the whole series, and it's a series which I think actually was one of the best. It really set the foundation for the whole series. But in all honesty, it's got the weakest ending to any of the series of Stargate. The end of that series, I think, is awful. I'd love to know what you guys think, so please get in the comments. So how important... that was the one thing I wanted to talk about, actually, was Brad Wright and Atlantis. And Amazon. So Brad Wright has, since doing Stargate, written 2 other scripts for pilots for other shows. He's also written a movie for Amazon. So he obviously has a decent connection with Amazon. He says in his tweet when he was talking about this that he doesn't think it's probably pretty likely none of those projects will ever get made, but they all still could. But it does show he's got that relationship with Amazon. Amazon know who he is. basically. And I've talked to him and have enough confidence in him. They want him to write for them. So that does show that they seem to have an element of confidence in Brad, and they'd bring him through. But I'm still hearing rumors that they don't like what's the current setup of the new Stargate series would be. It's not big enough. It's not grand enough. I personally think what's going to happen now in the next 6 months is MGM will have a complete restructure. MGM it exists now as a company will disappear. And it'll be absorbed completely into Amazon. Then they will finish reviewing all the projects, and Stargate will get a green light. I think they will bring Brad Wright in, but I think his existing script will pretty much be shredded. I think they'll just go, look, it's been 3 years since you wrote that. Let's do something new. And now you're talking to us now. We're not talking to MGM. You're not talking to a cash-strapped MGM. You're talking to Amazon, the company that's just spent £1 billion on a TV series that potentially in Lord of the Rings nobody will watch. That's not true. Everybody will watch it. Everyone will watch and complain about it, but everyone will watch it. You can now have a much bigger vision, and we're going to have in that vision is going to be TV series, movies, and we can do almost anything. We're going to have a team. It won't just be Brad, and it was never just Brad with Stargate Atlantis. It was Joseph Malozzi, it was Robert Cooper, it was others. So we're going to build a team around this, but I don't think that'll happen now until Christmas time. Everything that I was being told 6 months ago was that Amazon wanted this on our screens by next summer, one way or another. But that was always before the COVID impact really squeezed, even though everyone I've spoken to says that everyone knew it was coming, except it seems the big executives. They all seem to think that this cash cow of COVID, where everyone was stuck at home, so everybody was getting subscription channels and was going to go on forever. And everybody in the marketing people were telling them, no, there's going to be a crash. But we're seeing that now. So I think that'll happen probably in about 6 months. So when do we think we'll actually get Stargate on our screens? It takes about 12 months to develop a new series. It just does. From script to screen, if you really squeeze it down, you can do it in about 8 months, apparently. So if this were to be agreed by Christmas, we could see it on our screens by the following autumn. So autumn 2023, we could have Stargate on our screens. I asked the Amazon guy, because this is a new chap I've been speaking to, what do we think that series would look like? Could we get 24 episodes? He said, almost no chance. They don't do 24 episode series anymore on these type of networks. They just don't. They will follow, and this is what I've been told repeatedly actually over the last 12 months, they will follow the Disney model. They're looking at what Disney are doing with Star Wars, and they'll copy that. So this source, Amazon says, 8 episodes, 8 to 12 episodes, somewhere in that area, depending on what the story dictates. Even if they go for a Strange New Worlds type of thing where it's a different story every week, there will be an overarching storyline. There will be a big bad that will go in phases, and that'll happen over 8 to 12 episodes, as I say. But it will be really flexible depending on what Brad Wright's story needs. So if the story needs 14 episodes, I'll get 14 episodes. If it needs 8, I'll get 8. And it's really flexible. But he says there is almost no chance we'll get 24 episodes. So if you are one of those people that just want Stargate back on our screens like it used to be, 24 episodes, a different story every week, a different gate address, we're not going to get it. It's almost certainly going to be short series. But we could get something like what they've done with Star Wars, where we get 3 or 4 series a year. So even though we might only be getting 8, 10, 12 episodes in a hit, we might end up actually getting something like 36 episodes a year, which to me would be phenomenal. But those different series would have different perspectives or different teams or different something else, but they will intertwine with each other. That to me is just phenomenal. I would love to see that, and I can't wait to see it. So that is everything I know at the moment, guys. So let's have a look back through and see what some of your comments have been. This does not sound good at all, Hack says. I think it sounds like, to me, I think it sounds really confident because, like I said, Amazon have been interested in this in 3 years. So they're not going to drop something that's not going to, they're not going to drop something they've spent 3 years on. I think Stargate not greenlit 2 years ago, it'll get dumped. I would agree with that. If we've not seen something in 6 months, I'd be really, really concerned that it's not going to happen. And I think at the moment we're looking at 6 months. Sorry, guys, I'm just trying to get the. There we go. Such a big thanks, James. They won't drop it. Sorry, James. Don't worry. Gamer Beans, God, I'm looking forward to it. Just hope they get a new show. The show was a huge cash cow. You got 100% right. One of the main reasons, another reason why Amazon aren't going to drop this show. And again, this was confirmed to me by the Amazon. I've really been bugging this new person I've been speaking to from Amazon because I just find it fascinating. I'm trying to learn as much about how these shows get developed as well and what the development process is like. I want to understand it. I think if I'd have understood 9 months ago when I started this channel what I know now, I would have done very, very different videos because I understand the process a lot better now. There are a lot of things I wouldn't have said because I've misunderstood things and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, it's a learning curve. You've got to learn these things. One of the things he was talking to me about the way Amazon does shows as well is that they do everything based on metadata. And they do lots and lots of surveys with customers. But they also look at viewing figures from the TV series. Now, Stargate SG-1 was on Amazon Prime 2 years ago, I think. And it was on the MGM channel. They look at those viewing figures. And apparently they were amazed the viewing figures Stargate SG-1 got in particular, and Atlantis. They were really, really surprised that a TV show that at the time was 20 years old got the viewing figures like it was a new show. It beat new shows in lots of different ways. And so people was jumping in and they were watching episode after episode. And this is one of the things they look at. Do people just jump in and watch the same episodes over and over again? So say it's like Star Trek. Say Star Trek Next Generation. The most watched episode of Star Trek Next Generation is The Best of Both Worlds. Lots of people go and will just watch that, and they'll watch it over and over again. The thing apparently they really like, and the metadata showed with Stargate, is that people watch the series from beginning to end. It's a bit like Firefly. They'll just watch the whole series. They don't watch the same episodes over and over again. They watch the whole series over and over again. And this was something that really, really surprised them. And that really, that amazes me. Just trying to get rid of this idiot that keeps putting things. There's a lot more we can do the series. Let's see what John Jones has just been saying. There's a lot more they do the series, some movie. There's a perfect way to continue the series. I would love them to start off with a movie and a really big impact. The problem is a movie takes probably 2 years to develop. I don't want to wait that long. I'd like them to come back with a series that they can get on our screens within 8 months and then hit us with a movie that works, I'm currently an Amazon sales partner and they sell my products. Very good, very cool, John. I like the idea of 8 to 13 episodes. I'd love to see that as well. I've not seen it as well, but people have sent them to me. I've had loads of people send me the surveys that they've done. They've also had a bunch of surveys out for like Firefly and things like that as well that they were interested in doing and looking at. And old movies. They did an old movie survey not long ago. They sent out to people. Apparently, they send them out to quite a small number of people, but it's the same people over and over again that they send them to, sort of thing. So we are getting really close to 10,000 subscribers, guys. So don't forget to, share the video. Let's get more subscribers, get people out there talking about this. Amazon streams Star Hunter Redux, but nobody watches it. Cult franchises don't do well. That is true. Amazon will dump a TV show on its arse if it doesn't do well. But you've also got to remember, though, that it doesn't necessarily have to have massive numbers. It's demographics they're interested in as well. This is one of the conversations I'm having about Babylon 5. Babylon 5 is a cult classic. There's a core amount of people, and The Expanse is the same. There's a core people that love this show, but the ones that love it adore it. And Stargate is the biggest of all of them. Stargate has got a fan base that's just insane. Excuse me, Diet Coke burp. they don't care if those numbers aren't massive. Like, say, like Love Island, lots and lots of millions of people watch that stupid show, so it's going to get made because it's got loads of views and it's very cheap to make. But it might not bring you a lot of subscribers. Do people love it enough to subscribe to a channel for it? And Amazon look at figures like that. Does a project, if a project is watched by 10 million people, but only 1 million of them really love it and will love it enough to actually subscribe to their channel for it, then all they see is the million. They don't care about the other 9 million that do actually watch it regularly. If Stargate only has 5 million viewers, but 2.5 million of them love it enough that they will subscribe to the channel for it, they see the 2.5 million. They'll see they've got, okay, even though Love Island has more viewers, I've never watched it myself, but apparently it does, Stargate is more valuable to them because it gives them more subscribers, and that's all they care about is bums in seats. Will Brandy Leonard have a role in a new show? Not a clue. Demographics are awesome for Stargate. It's right in their sweet spot. It really, really is. So, guys, that's where we're at the moment. And I'm sorry it's not better news, but I think this is as good as news as we're going to get at the moment. That, you know, Amazon are never, ever going to drop this TV show. I was actually starting to lose confidence that we were going to get Stargate back. I was so confident before this, when the sale went through. I was thinking, we're going to get this, and this is going to happen by July, and we're going to get this greenlit. And I've been told that that's still a possibility, that we could still get something greenlit by July, the 25th anniversary, July 27th. I don't think that's going to happen because the MGM thing, I don't think Amazon were ever actually planning to have to rip MGM apart. I think when they've got in there and they've actually seen how much of a mess it was, I think maybe they've decided to rip it apart. But Joe is really confident. Joe says it's like 5 chevrons locked, 6 and 7 are the hardest though, but we'll see what happens. But then MGM started to get ripped apart. People that I speak to start to lose their jobs. Only one did, to be fair, and he got another job straight away. But and then you're starting to think, oh my God, maybe this isn't going to happen. Maybe Amazon actually aren't interested. But then I make this new contact and he tells me, no, Amazon, everything you have been told is true. Amazon are really, really interested. Stargate is the sleeping giant of sci-fi and they desperately want it back. So then you've got to start thinking, I'm just glad there's still a lot of people talking about Stargate. Well, look, we've got 115 people watching this video right now. My last video on Stargate Atlantis has already had 15,000 views. I did a video a little while ago on Stargate Universe that's gone past 70,000 views. A lot of people still love the show and a lot of people are still talking about it, you know. It would be amazing. It would be nice to add a Stargate again, something like, oh, I forgot about that as well. Sorry. Thank you, Keep TV, for reminding me. Amazon are looking to bring all of the MGM products eventually onto Amazon Prime. That is a long-term goal, and this guy has confirmed. We all assumed that's what they were doing. We assumed that's why they bought it, but then it didn't seem to happen. And like the Stargate went on Pluto TV, and we started thinking, well, that doesn't really make sense. That's a competitor. He did say to me, because there are loads and loads of contracts that Amazon are trying to unpick. They're trying to take all these little contracts apart that MGM have signed. And MGM signed the Pluto TV deal before the sale went through, and that's the only reason it happened. But actually, Amazon weren't too bothered. They could have pulled it apparently, but they didn't. Amazon will be, though, eventually putting all of MGM products onto Amazon Prime. Hopefully not through the MGM add-on channel, because I think that'll piss people off. But eventually that's what they're going to be doing. They want to do like what Disney do. They want a big movie like Creed 3 when it comes out to go in the cinema and then to immediately go into Amazon Prime, like within, you know, a couple of weeks of it leaving the cinema. That's the goal. And if you look at what Disney Plus are doing, they're using their movies and their TV series to push subscriptions, and they're doing a very good job. I honestly think they will overtake everybody in the next 12 months and become the biggest streaming service. Disney Plus. I think it'll overtake Netflix. It'll overtake everybody. But they're using their products really, really wisely to push Disney Plus, and Amazon want to do the same. So projects like I said, like Creed 3, any other movies that are coming out. Legally Blonde 3 is coming out soon, guys. Looking forward to that one. Don't know why I said that. I quite like the first one. I don't know why I'm taking the piss out of that. I mean, I enjoyed the first one. But anyway, they'll be going on to Amazon Prime. That is the plan in the long term. But there's a lot of contracts they've got to unpick. Amazon will get marketed data from Pluto. You're 100% correct. I haven't seen Stargate Infinity in a really long time. I almost forgot it existed. Stargate Infinity was awful. I'm so glad that the initial, because when this was initially, Stargate was initially going to come back. So we got 2015. They talked about the first time of the reboot, where it was going to be Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich, and they were going to come back and do a trilogy of movies, the original trilogy. So they were going to remake the original Stargate movie, and then they were going to make the second and third. Well, initially, they wanted to just make the sequel with Kurt Russell and James Spader, and they both said, "Oh, we're too old, we don't want to do it." So they decided they were going to hard reboot it, and that got scrapped really quick. That got announced, that got greenlit, but that got scrapped really quickly. I think that was 2015. And then about a year after that, the idea was they were going to have a TV series and another cartoon. They saw what Star Trek are doing with Lower Decks and the other series, those names go out of my head, and they thought, we'll do that. And I don't think, but at the time, MGM had an animation division. So I think they thought, we've got the division, let's give the division something to do. We'll do a Stargate series. And it would have been a disaster. They had nothing. But luckily, the executive producer in charge of scripted material changed the new chap, that's Steve Wright, and he immediately scrapped that idea. And he went, no, we're not doing that. We can't do a cartoon. It's going to be terrible. And that's when the conversation with Amazon started. And that's then when Brad Wright was asked to do the pilot script. But just, for the love of God, if that had happened. Look who's a bit late for the party. Just a little bit. Stephanie Brown, when Stan the former home of Stargate TV lost the purchase of MGM, I immediately subscribed to Prime's add-on MGM channel. I too watch SGN through Atlantis to end the SGU. See, that is the mean. People will follow a project like this. This is one of the reasons why, when The Expanse got cancelled, you don't have to be sorry for being Australian. That's okay. You're not American. It's okay. Sorry, I'm going to be in a chat video with my other mate very shortly on my other channel, on the Mystery channel, and with my mate Stormy. I know he's American and we mock him for being American. I shout to say Ali Mini met him a lot. Please go and find us on there if you want to come across. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification for future videos, and like I said, lots of merchandise. They're really good quality, actually. Sorry for being American. You're okay. We're okay. Yeah, ouch. Sorry, guys. I really like Lower Decks. It's like a love letter. It's not Trek and it's not canon. I think it's beta canon. Some people go, well, is Lower Decks canon? No, it isn't. It's just a really fun show. It's a love letter to the original series for me. It's for the next generation, but we shouldn't take it too seriously. I think that's why people hate it, because they think take it too seriously. Because just sit back, enjoy it. Stupid humor. I'm British. I love stupid humor. I love fart jokes and things. And go on our Facebook channel. I'm always putting memes up that are very stupid humor. Search SciTrek and find our Facebook group. That'd be great. We're approaching 1,000 members on there as well, actually. But it's not. Don't take it too seriously. It's not. I think. Wait, can we have the Discord link, please? If you go to the Facebook channel, it is on the Facebook channel. So if you search Facebook and find us on there, you'll find the Discord link. If you come back later, I'll put it on the. I'll put a link for the Facebook group on here. If you go to the community page, I did put a Facebook link on there a couple of days ago, so you should be able to find that. And then, yeah, get on the Discord and talk to Artmalites. The chap that runs our Discord is great, Matt. He's always putting new quizzes on there, questions on there, new debates. He's always got stuff on there to talk about, so it's really, really good. Right, guys. I love the Cat Doctor and the alternate universe. I saw a link for a video today of a Stargate episode, and I can't remember the episode. It really bugged me. It was the Doctor is getting a woman out of a block of ice, and she puts a light in the eye, and there's the pupils dilate. I'm going to have to find that episode, because I have absolutely no idea what happens in that episode, and that really bugs me, because I watch 30 seconds of any Stargate episode. I can tell you exactly what happens. There's an entire episode that's just been blocked from my mind. And if any of you guys can tell me which episode it is, I'd love to know, because I really cannot remember it. It can't have been a very good episode, because I've just completely blanked out my memory. It must have been quite a young one though, because that Rotherby was still the Doctor, so it must have been before Heroes. So that was series 6, I think. So yeah, I'd love to see Jonas come back. I actually really like Jonas, and yeah, Ancients. Oh, it's about the plague. Yeah, I've forgotten about the plague. So, Man in the Ice. It was a woman. It was a woman that was in the ice. So if you can tell me what that was. But guys, I am going to bid you adieu. Was it an ancient? That the episode where they thawed out the ancient in Antarctica. I imagine it was Antarctica because she was frozen. And I think it was a chick. I think it was a woman. So she would have been an ancient. That is ringing a bell, actually. If she was an ancient, that is ringing a bell. I need to watch more Stargate. I've just finished watching Stargate Series 2. I'm going to watch Stargate Series 3 next. Simply because it is, I've watched Stargate SG1 probably every episode 3 or 4 times, and I feel like that's not enough. I need to watch it more, particularly with this. I'm going to watch the movie again very soon. She was the first episode of Atlantis. Was she? I remember the first episode of Atlantis. I need to watch that again then as well. She died saving others except Jack, who became Tok'ra to be saved. Oh, I do remember that episode. Thank you so much, Stephanie. You've reminded me. Thank you so much. Yes, I do remember that episode. Right, guys, I am going to say goodnight. As I say, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, share the video wherever the hell you like. We'll hopefully have some more news soon. But like I said, everything's gone very, very quiet. So we'll see what happens. I'm thinking though 6 months, and if it happens in 6 months and gets greenlit, remember you heard it here first. Okay, so listen, guys, happy Sunday. I know you've got to go back to work tomorrow. I'm back at work tomorrow as well, but never mind. And please go and join us over on The Machine. I'm going to be on there at 6 o'clock. We're going to be talking about the stupidest conspiracy theory in the history of all conspiracy theories, the reptilians. But it's the Queen's Jubilee. So, she's supposed to be a reptilian, apparently. So I think at least one of us on the panel actually believes this conspiracy. And I'll give you a hint. It's not me. But that should be a giggle. So please, hopefully, I'd love to see you guys over there at 12. In the meantime, be safe. I will see you all really soon. And if you've got any questions or anything you wanted me to talk about in the future, leave a comment and we will get to it at some point. All right, guys, please stay safe. I'll see you next time.